Good morning. Good. I don't think the mic's on. Good morning. Good morning. Good. It's a really good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Meetinghouse of Provincetown, where we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and where we support each other on our spiritual truth, our spiritual search for truth and meaning. My name is Ellen Anthony. I'm a member of the Worship Committee and Racial Justice Provincetown, and I will be your worship host this morning. Welcome to those in the room, and welcome to you online. This morning we welcome to our pulpit Donna Walker. Donna serves as the director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the town of Provincetown, and is a board member of Lily House in Wellfleet. Donna also serves on the Juneteenth Planning Committee that put together the fabulous Juneteenth celebration. Thank you so much for sharing your message with us this morning. Before we go on with our service, I have a few announcements to share. Thank you to everyone who made the pancake breakfast such a success last Sunday. Special thanks to Stan and Ada and the membership committee, but also to the many volunteers who made it run so smoothly. A reminder that this weekend is Portuguese Festival here in Provincetown. That means that after the service, you can head on down to Macmillan Pier to witness the blessing of the fleet and Portuguese dancing. That'll happen at about 12:30, and this is a special cultural event that happens every year in our town to honor the history of Provincetown as a Portuguese fishing village. This week, the Meetinghouse will be closed on Thursday for July 4th celebration. And here's something fun coming up on July 14th. We'll be joining with other churches in town for an interfaith picnic. Parking will be tight, so carpooling will be important. This will take place at St. Mary's Church in the East End. There's extra parking available at Provincetown Theater. Burgers and hot dogs will be provided, as well as veggie burgers and dessert. And we're asking people to bring a side dish if you can. Finally, if you're here in person today, we hope that you'll stick around after the service for coffee and conversation downstairs in Acker Bosworth Hall. We like to meet and greet you and hear more about who you are, if you're visiting for the first time especially. And now let's take a moment to affirm our community's covenant. You can find this on the small purple laminated card in your pew, or you can just listen to it line by line as I say our covenant. Love is the spirit of this meeting house. This is our great covenant. To dwell together in peace. To seek the truth in love. And to help one another. And now, as we light our chalice candle here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you watching online to light a candle wherever you are. In this way, we can feel connected even while we are apart. This morning, I invite Myra to light our chalice as I read the words of Marian Wright Edelman. God, please help us remember that all the darkness in the world cannot snuff out the candle the light of one little candle. Help us to keep lighting our little candles until a mighty torch of justice sweeps our nation and our world. And now I invite you to sing the opening hymn, number 95, There Is More Love Somewhere. That's number 95 in the gray hymnal. There is more love somewhere. Please rise as you are able. Please be seated. Now I want to invite up Donna Walker, who has lived in P-Town for 22 years and knows what it's like to juggle a summer in P-Town.
Thank you, Ellen. Good morning, all. I invite you now into a time of meditation and prayer. During this time, or at any time during the service, you are welcome to light a silent candle at the table to the right of the pulpit, where there is a journal to record your thoughts and prayers. After our meditation, we will sing together, Spirit of Life, hymn number 123, which is also printed on the purple laminate cards in your pews. We'll sing first in English, then in Spanish. This morning's meditation is by Thich Nhat Hanh. Let us be at peace with our bodies and our minds. Let us return to ourselves and become wholly ourselves. Let us be aware of the source of being, common to us all and to all living things. Evoking the presence of the great compassion, let us fill our hearts with our own compassion towards ourselves and toward all living beings. Let us pray that we ourselves come to be the cause of suffering to each other.
The Call by Megan Foley. What is this thing known as a calling, anyway? What is a call, really? Is it a way of matching your skills to the job market? Can you find it in an employment guide? Is it a multiple choice test that tells you what type you are and where you'll find others just like you 9 to 5, Monday through Friday? Is that where you find your calling? Is a calling a feeling of joy, of completeness in your work? Is it what Karl Marx thought we lacked when he said we were alienated from our labor? Is a calling a way of saying, this is part of me, this thing I've created? This thing you see here, it's a way of seeing me. Is a calling straight from cherubim to seraphim? Is it burnt lips and angels singing? Is it a direct command and expected obedience? Is it a voice in the night, a whisper through the dark, so compelling that you eventually find yourself saying, here I am, send me? Or is your calling the work of 1,000 arrows of your life, the arrows that point to your hometown, to your family, the ones that point to your education and that weird summer job, the ones that point to your greatest weakness or your greatest strength, the one that points to the darkest moments of your life, and the one that points to your most profound joy? All these arrows of yours coming together in a way that you never thought possible, coming together to point to a path you never saw before, a path suddenly flooded with light, a path suddenly garlanded with your name. I invite you now to sing hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us. That's 131 in the gray hymnal. Please rise as you're able. Now is the time in our service when we take a collection for the ongoing support of this Meetinghouse and our shared ministry. As we enjoy a musical reflection by our choir, we welcome your donations here in the sanctuary or online through PayPal or Venmo. You can find that information on our website, uumh.org, and there are QR cards in the pews as well. I invite 3 volunteer ushers to come take the collection. On and off site, your offerings will now be gratefully received.
myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she's standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
Let it be, let it be, let it be.
Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be.
For though they may get guarded, there is still a chance that they may be.
There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be.
Good morning once again, and thank you, choir. I had an opportunity to sit here while we were waiting for this service to begin, listening to them as they practice. Wow, it was beautiful. So thank you very much. And thank you, Ellen, for asking me to come and share this morning as a guest speaker. I am an introvert. Let me rephrase that. I am an introvert. Getting here took considerable time to do so. Growing up, I had no idea I would have such a title attached to my name. I had vague notions of becoming a Foreign Service officer in the State Department with the Diplomatic Corps, or passing thoughts of becoming a doctor, I think to please my mother, the nurse, and even a minister, ditto, to please my father, the pastor. One dream I vigorously sought was to attend the U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis. Vigorously sought was to attend the U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis, in the second class to admit women, taking tests, jumping farther than the others in the standing long jump at my physical, and trying to convince the doctor at the medical exam that my eyesight was not a hindrance. Alas, the doctor did not believe me. All these dreams went to the wayside in my life. Much of my life has been serendipitous. I went from one experience to the next, trying different roles, some engaging while others disinterested me. Eventually, I fell into college admissions, and I found that I was good at convincing young people and their parents that my school was the right fit for them. I say fell because it was serendipity that my alma mater asked me to attend a recruiting event for students of color in New York City. And I spoke extemporaneously about the freedom to be authentic once I attended college. I loved it. I loved seeing the light in their eyes while I spoke. Eventually, I found it better to convince young folks to find the right college and the right fit, regardless of what college I worked for. At that point in my life, one thread that ran through my life was working with students of color, helping them to envision their own powerful life during and after college. I know the interest my parents had in making sure their children received an education rubbed off on us. I did college admissions. I have a niece who is working toward becoming a superintendent of schools. You know, my sister is an educator teaching 4th and 5th graders. And then my other sister is pretty much involved in doing work, community justice, social justice, and religious freedom, and teaching others about that. So, as you can see, we all kind of fell into doing educational roles. But with our parents, it was not just our studies, but the kind of hobbies and character-building activities that we did that I remember as a 20-something coming across an early children's reader that highlighted Black American accomplishments. I started asking my mother about it. She pointed out that they had bought the book for us as young children. She said they wanted us to have a balance of positive role models. You see, during our formative years, we were living in an all-white town. I took that to mean that they were afraid we were not having the kind of developmental relationships that fed our Blackness. That hit me in the gut like no other message had to that date. My daily life from age 10 on, my family was surrounded by a white community. For the first time, I realized I needed to share the awareness that my people, my background, and my experiences were equally as valid as my white counterparts, despite the underlying messages that came our way almost daily, messages that indicated that we as Black folks were inferior. As an educator, I wanted to make sure my students of color never forgot where they came from. They should have a chance to reshape their views of them being from another race to just being their authentic selves within their own race, and to let that shine forth. That thread that I mentioned earlier thus became a guiding principle in my life, bringing others on a journey of light and faith in themselves. It started in 1988. I stepped out of my introverted comfort zone and worked on a collaborative project at Sweetbriar College, where I worked in my first admissions job. I proposed a Black women writers conference for the 12 or so enrolled Black students at this very small, rural college. I talked to the the white ally that I had, a feminist professor of English. And we put together, or we designed a semester-long course, reading and analyzing Black women authors, the first of its kind at this all-woman Central Virginia college. To cap off this experience, I invited 3 writers for a weekend of reading and master classes. Toni Cade Bambara, author of The Salt Eaters, a seminal work of faith and healing. Her anthology, The Black Woman, in 1970, showcased poetry, short stories, and essays by Nikki Giovanni, Audre Lorde, Alice Walker, Paula Marcia, as well as herself. Next, I invited Rita Dove, who won the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry in 1987 and was later named the first Black U.S. Poet Laureate. Finally, I invited Cheryl Clark, poet and activist, published in numerous journals and anthologies, including This Bridge Called My Black, Writings by Radical Women of Color, 1982, Homegirls, a Black feminist anthology, 1984, and the editor of Lesbian Anthologies. And I should say, Homegirls is probably my first inkling of coming out to my parents as a lesbian, so there's a whole story behind that one. They all touched my soul with their writings. Like magic, they brought a new light to the students and to themselves. Writing this sermon, I came across an article by Rita Dove about her visit to Sweetbriar. It was a tribute to Toni Cade Bambara on her passing and their first meeting. She spoke of the awe and wonder of meeting her, but also the transformation of going to Sweetbriar and being a part of something wondrous for those students. I did not know that this article existed until a few days ago. It tells me how the dream of educating my students also touched the lives of others simply because of serendipity. From that moment on, I have engaged in the extracurriculars of my students, creating opportunities to highlight their stories and their accomplishments. Years later, I can reflect on this job, in this moment, in this town, as a culmination of staying truthful to that thread and finding that belief in blind faith and serendipity takes me where I need to go. I have always liked the word serendipity. It expresses how fate, faith, and timing come together to create a whole new way of seeing and being. Grasping it means being open to all the possibilities out there, like entering the Marvel universe, for those of you who watch Marvel films, and experiencing new worlds. Back to the introvert. Despite my self-interest in staying in the shadows, my pathway has always felt guided by a universal light. That does not mean that I believe in my ego to guide me. Rather, a universal force brings light into my life. That light gives me energy when I feel drained, tired, or down, and it gives me solace and comfort when needed. Spotlight on the things that I may trip over to show me that there may be another path that exists to do what I can. The trick is to acknowledge that the force is there. Blind faith does the rest. I am in awe of those who have a plan in life, and they keep to it. For many years, I felt inadequate because my plans seemed to be of the moment and not a well thought out process. Somewhere in my 30s, I realized that while those people followed their plans to fruition, I was following a plan that my universe set out for me. The serendipitous process of walking a meandering path meant I got to experience new wonders. I also got to develop an emotional depth because of that path. I've experienced love, loss, joy, despair, exhilarating highs, and debilitating lows. These emotional levels have taught me to have empathy, a caring compassion, a sharp wit, and sometimes an even sharper tongue, which is not the usual thing you find introverts have. What this means for me as the DEI gal is that I am still finding new ways to learn how to listen to the messages I receive. To look below the surface of negativity that we all face when promoting equity and inclusion work and find the reason that that negativity exists. It means double the job, promoting solutions to systemic inequities, but also looking at the physical and mental tolls inequity has brought to the fore and to try and make changes. One day, I was asked to meet by a board member, to give you an idea. She wanted to discuss her thoughts on an issue that had developed over an event in town. The meeting was after work in my office. I don't think, maybe there were one or two people who were around, but unfortunately, it started off as a condemnation of the decision I had made about the issue at hand. It soon escalated into her yelling about the situation. And just so you know, we introverts tend to shy away from confrontations. I had an overwhelming desire to end the meeting and to retreat into my shell. Instead, I managed to take a few deep breaths and find an inner calmness. I managed to speak calmly to her, and I was able to bring her back to the present. Eventually, we began discussing not the issue, but her own story underlying why these issues had triggered her. We were able to end the meeting with an understanding that her concerns were valid and should always be voiced. I did not change my decision on the issue, and she disagreed still. But we believed we had a better understanding why the decision was made. Her vulnerability gave us room to remain colleagues in the social justice realm and to continue challenging one another in that work and the other work that needs to be done. It gave me pause to think perhaps this is where the healing qualities I learned from the nurse and the pastor come into play. Obviously, I did not become a doctor or a minister, but I don't think my parents were upset about that. I do believe they championed what I did in life, cheering me on and staying in my corner, no matter what. To me, these are the most important lessons to learn. Letting their children evolve as we did means I get to use these same skills to let others evolve as they will, suspending judgment and offering whatever insights I can to help them on their path. What better way to live a serendipitous life? Thank you.
Thank you, Donna, so much for your message this morning. It has become our practice to pose a question based on the sermon. It can be a topic of sharing at coffee hour today or with friends during the week. If you'd like to delve deeper, I would always like to delve deeper into this question. We invite you to join us at Zoom Coffee Hour on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock. Please contact the office if you need that link. The question this week is serendipity static? What role does serendipity play in your life? What role does serendipity play in your faith journey? How does it inform you or not? So the simple part of that question is, what role does serendipity play in your faith journey?
So, I would like to end with these closing words. This week, as you go about each day, invite yourself to notice what's calling to you. What message does the universe have for you in this moment? Be on the lookout for serendipity. Go in peace.